customer pickup, those sorts of things we're seeing, kind of dramatising that.
And I have one last question that actually crossed my mind right now about the fluidity of space.
Yeah.
So we know that, when there is a project, somehow when you have a brief that says, okay, this amount of space needs to be allocated for retail or for F&B, and we know that those space, depending on the function, then they will be different.
Yeah.
I was just wondering whether nowadays we have evolved towards a more fluid structure where a space that is rented for a retail store now can be used for a restaurant and vice versa.
Yeah. Yes, it should be, and that would be the ideal. There are some constraints. I mean, probably the biggest issue between creating spaces flexible between a basic retailing environment to food and beverage would be the mechanical services. So that affects ceiling heights, capital costs, because the primary ducts and fans are hard to put in later, and also the fire regulations mean that you.
Do you think that now landlords, when they do appoint you for this new project, do they think that as a possibility? So is it usually part of your brief, or?
Yeah, I'm not sure usually, but yeah, sometimes. We would normally look at the project like that anyway. We'd look at, I think as you said, you're 30, 40, I think for a number of years, probably less now, but for up until 3 or 4 years ago, we found ourselves very often trying to push our clients towards more F&B entertainment than they were generally comfortable with. I would say working in Europe, it's like that. I've got 2 projects in France at the moment. It's definitely like that. At 20% F&B, they're already very nervous. It's crazy, isn't it? But so European, why. There's a whole constraints and culture and expectation and bias. There's a whole lot of reasons that they feel like that. But it's also linked directly to the way their businesses are structured financially, and the organisation of their businesses, where the ability to leverage on the capital markets is crazy, isn't it? The ability to leverage a shopping mall on a capital market is linked obviously directly to its assets value, and its assets value is directly linked to its long-term rental, and the long-term rental is linked to its major tenants. And so what they try to do is tie it up with 50 or 60% of it with big box, relatively low paying, but that's why they love supermarkets and department stores, because they can put that on the table, leverage that project against other property or sites to grow a portfolio. So it's less about the pure, the dimension which is sort of hidden from view, but it's about their ability to grow their overall corporate business with multiple sites, which is aside from just how that one project performs. But coming back to your point, flexibility is super important, and I think never has been more so, and it's definitely, holistically, it's definitely an issue for all of our clients. But it's also retail to office is very important. And in some projects we're looking at right at the moment, we're looking at office to residential.
But is office dead?
Huh?
Is office dead?
Office dead? No way. Can't be, because you still need to bring people together to work together in creative environments and share ideas, and 1 + 1 has to equal 3. Not 1 + 1 can't equal, 1.8, which is what it does in Zoom sometimes, more than often.
Okay, so for me that's all, unless you want to add anything else.
I don't know, Selena, do I need to add anything else? Afterwards she's going to say to me, Stephen, you didn't really talk about... I know there is something that we're talking about. We've been running, there'll be a thing on WeChat coming out about this soon. We've had a lot of interest from clients who want to, I guess it's a bit like, some of the things you were explaining to me at the start of the meeting here today, that it's kind of, they're interested in what we're seeing and, how those things tie up together. So we've been, if we were clever like you, we would have really turned it into a proper business, but instead we just do a series of knowledge sharing sessions with clients. Very well turned out. One of them we did with, I guess we can say that with Fraser's property, had almost 100 people on it, just a huge expense, right?
Yeah.
For them, huh? I mean, we had half a dozen people on it. We've done another one with Capital Land, done another one with Venka, and a couple of others in China too, which I wasn't involved with. But effectively looking at these different issues of not purely response to COVID, but the changes that we're seeing across the portfolio of our projects, so not just retail. And I think that, and happy to share that with you too, by the way, if that's of interest. But I think the headline that emerged, and the way I brought it together was just asking different leaders in our workplace, retail, hospitality, urban design teams to, tell me what you're seeing, and then we had a series of workshops and tried to bring it together. The headline really is about an idea about innovation communities, which kind of picks up on so many of the questions you've asked, I think. But this idea that, COVID brings greater attention to wellness, sustainability, health. So that's, open space, ventilation, credentials for that space, ESG, CSR, etc. And that flows through the project. The community thing, whole community notion, I think is definitely part of that. And as I said, it's linked. The context of that's partly socio-political, socially, regionally political, but also it's got to do with COVID and boundaries. But definitely that renewed interest in a lifestyle that can be more localised and less about getting away from things all the time, and more about coming to the things around you more often. I think that's it. We're seeing also, the workplace technology in workplace is also massive, and the idea that integrated technology, not just retail but in workplace, I think is huge, and it's linking into not the seamless retail experience, but the seamless work experience. And so new platforms, new systems. Is the office block dead? No, because most of the businesses in a city like Hong Kong, like ours, probably like yours, yes, you can have people work at home, but issues of connectivity, culture, creativity, engagement start to fail. It's like I talk about the rubber band moment. You can stretch it so far, but it's going to break. So you can do for 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, but eventually people don't want to come to work. And if they don't want to come to work, then it's a problem for your business, but opportunities for businesses where you can get people to work. So how do you get people back to work? You need more amenities. So the headline for that is not, and it's not baby foot and ping pong tables and stuff that we had 10 years ago. It's, it's meaning. It's environments where people can learn and grow professionally and personally, and be supported with, kind of a workplace environment where they can eat and they can drink safely and be challenged and be entertained and all of those things. So we're seeing a lot of that, and I think, we're looking at restructuring our business end of lease. The headline is we don't need less space, even if 20% of our people are working at home all the time, because the other 80% want more space to be more healthy, have more amenity, have more breakout space, have more group working space. And group working space, like as a group space, this is very inefficient. Much better to put rows of tables and chairs and cram in the workstations. So I don't subscribe either to the office building being dead. So, and then lastly, urban, at an urban scale, the other thing that emerged in our survey of our own projects was a preoccupation with the notion of urban redevelopment or urban developments which tie together communities. Yeah, which tie together communities.
And something that I read about, but I'm not sure at which stage is it yet. A lot of companies are looking into having, keeping the office, but also open other small offices within the city.
I heard about that.
To make sure that employees can work in any area, having a place where to meet clients, instead of having people moving around.
Yeah, that ties into your point there about the sort of multinodal city environments. Yeah, I've heard that. Banks are looking at that.
Yeah.
Heard a couple
Like
of
big consulting firms.
I heard about that. Did I hear BCG looking at that somewhere in the US?
Probably, I don't know.
BCG doing that in the US. Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? But you know, they got scale, right? So if you're 20,000 people and you want to take 10,000 people out and put them into 500 people nodes, I mean, you know, a person's social environment is like sort of 25 people, right? Something like
Yeah.
that. So it's the same in work groups and offices and stuff, isn't it? What's the magic number? I have to dig my head back into that. Remember the guy that did all the research with the monkeys? Remember that one?
No.
Yeah, and he found that the social groups of primates, was it 888? I'll let me dig it out. Now I've got myself curious
Okay.
again. Basically, what he found was the social groups of primates is effectively replicated in humans, in human beings, Homo sapiens, in a physical environment. So that if you look at the people that are in your family and close friends, you know, use those like onion rings. You've got
Oh,
that
yeah.
number, and then you've got the second number and the third number. So it's the same for basically all primates. And then interestingly, it's pretty well the same in terms of social media, in terms of social platforms as well. You've got the outer onion rings are much bigger, but those first one or two rings are exactly the same. The people that your analytics show that who your emails are to your top 8 people. It's the same, tends to be the same people most of the time. It goes like that. But
Okay, thank you very much. We got about 1 hour.